I know, I am awesome, but it's really great to hear that. I love hearing that. Okay, so Liz, a couple things I just wanted to go over with you. Obviously, we've got your schedule sheet done up here, and I know that you are working around track and some other responsibilities you have. You're a student athlete, which is great. FYI, we love having athletes on the team. I love competitive people, not just because you want to beat everyone else, although I know you do, but also competitive people just never generally accept less than their best. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I really respect, and I find people with that kind of attitude do really well in business too. So that's something that I actually really love about you. In fact, these other things you have with your practices, your tournaments and stuff this summer, to me, I don't look at that as reasons that are going to hold you back from hitting your goals. I actually look at that as evidence of why you've been successful in that area and why you can be really successful here with Vector 2. But one of the big things I want to make sure you understand is how important it's going to be for you to apply some structure to your schedule. Okay. What happens, Liz, is that a lot of times, because this job is so flexible, and that's a great thing. I love the flexibility, but kind of the best thing about the job is the flexibility. But guess what the worst thing about the job can be? The flexibility. Okay. And here's why. Because you can work anytime you want to, if you're not careful, eventually you'll get to a point where you feel like you're supposed to be working all the time. Okay. And like, your training is important in sports. And the reality is you could go train anytime, but there's a reason why you have a schedule. There's a reason why there's a calendar to it. There's a reason why there's times that you allot for it. Because if you just felt like you were supposed to train all the time, like, your body would wear down, like you couldn't get anything else done, and it actually wouldn't make you better. It would just introduce stress. Okay, it would introduce anxiety, and that's not helpful. All right, I don't mind you feeling a little bit of pressure here and there, because that's just life. That's being an adult. Anytime you do anything that matters, you'll feel some pressure. You feel it as an athlete, you feel it as a student. It's okay to feel a little bit professionally, but stress is different. I don't like that. I don't love that. So the pressure is okay, but the stress I'm not super cool with. I don't want that for you. So it's very, very important that we introduce structure to your job. Okay. Now, it's okay if week by week your structure has to change a little bit. I'm not worried about that, but it is extremely important that you do have kind of a framework you're working from. Okay. It's to that end, it's so crucial that we set some goals for you, which we'll talk about in a minute. But also, on the structure side, you need a daily demo goal that you're shooting for. Every day, you're not allowed to have a day, if you're going to be working, where you don't have a number you're trying to reach. Okay. Number one, it's going to make it much easier to book the demos you need to. When you can tell Mr. Jones, I just need 3 more appointments today to hit my goal. Inherently, that is a much more, it's more effective. They see how them meeting with you actually engages. They see how it actually supports you towards your goals, and that actually matters to people more than you realize. So number one, it's going to help you get more things booked. But number two is, if you don't have a goal you're shooting for, it will become inherently unsatisfying. Okay, because let's say you tell me, I want to do as many demos as I can tomorrow, and you book 3. Okay, well, what is 3 out of as many as I can? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I mean, honestly, and it's very hard to ever feel like you won the day. It's hard to feel satisfied. If you had a great sales day, great. Sometimes you'll feel like, man, but I should have done more, or Brian expected more from me, or the team needed more from me. Or even if you have an off day, you're like, man, if I would have, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these questions in your head. It's okay to miss a goal. It's not okay to not have a goal. Okay. So once you decide it's important and why it matters that you have these goals, well, then what do we do with them? Because setting all these tiny goals throughout the week, for a lot of people, they hear me say that and they're like, oh my gosh, Brian, that sounds so stressful. Okay. It's not. And here's why. When you set a goal, we don't measure our progress or our self-worth based on the goals. The goals just help us plan our schedule, work our activities, measure our progress. That's what goals help us do. So if you say that I have a goal of doing 4 demos tomorrow and you only complete 1 demo, okay, well, here's what happens if you don't have a goal. 1 out of it, as many as I can, we all know that's just a crappy feeling. 1 out of 4, okay, it's not great, but I can live with that. I can actually do something with that data, okay? And so what I want you to really help teach you to do is be curious with no judgment. Okay? Become curious with no judgment. Where goals become a negative thing is when you beat yourself up with them, and that's not helpful. Instead, what I would rather you do is just be curious. Why did you get the results that you did? Okay? So you had a goal of doing 4. You only got 1. Okay? Well, there's one of 2 reasons why you miss a goal for the rest of your life, just so you know. It's either execution, we didn't execute our plan sufficiently, or the plan to get us to that goal wasn't good enough to actually reach that goal. Okay? And so every time you miss a goal in your life, rather than beating yourself up, rather than letting it become a negative thing, rather than weaponizing your results to make you feel less about yourself, which that's the reason why, like, that setting goals throws you off sometimes, okay, for a lot of people. Instead, I want you to go, okay, cool. Was it execution for me? Like when I did my phone time, did I not ask for 2 times confidently? Did I not follow my manual word for word? You know what I'm saying? Was I not enthusiastic on the phone? You know, like that's execution, okay? And that's good if you figure out, yeah, you know what, I didn't. I kind of was like, hey, how's your week? Are you busy on Tuesday? I didn't actually offer 2 times. Great, because you were curious with no judgment. You figured that out, and now all of a sudden, guess what you can do next time? You can improve in that area. Does that make sense? So again, being curious with no judgment, it's amazing how that can really change things. So if it's execution, that's one thing, but sometimes it's the plan. Oh, you know what? I wanted 4 demos today, but I only gave myself 1 phone time, and that phone time was last night. I only called 8 people. I mean, dude, you're not going to book 4 demos tomorrow calling 8 people. We both know that. Like, I taught you that in training. You know that. So that's okay. Like, that, like, again, curiosity with no judgment, all right? You don't have to beat yourself up because, like, you didn't maybe do all the things you could or should have done. Instead, you just take that information to be like, okay, great. Well, now I know what to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, my goal is to get 3 demos. Therefore, I need a better plan to accomplish that. Okay, so let's make sure that you have structure. Let's make sure you have your daily demo goals always booked in there, and that's what's going to allow you to be so successful this summer. Sound good?